Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CC EduSet live lecture. Dear friends, as you know that we are carrying a series on microeconomics and so far we have conducted 14 lectures under the series. This is the 15th lecture and today we would be talking on equilibrium of the firm and industry under perfect competition. And for this discussion we have once again with us in our studios Dr. Kamlesh Ghakkar. Dr. Kamlesh Ghakkar is a professor in Institute of Management Studies and Research, Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak. Dr. Ghakkar has immense experience. She has been the guide to various students. Lots of students are doing PhD under her able guidance, and a number of her articles have been published in reputed journals both at national and international level. So let's welcome our guest Dr. Kamlesh Ghakkar and let's try to understand more and more about the topic equilibrium of a firm and industry under perfect competition. Hello ma'am, welcome to the EduSet lecture.
Thank you Geetika. Dear students, today I am going to tell you about equilibrium of the firm under perfect competition. We know the characteristics of perfectly competitive market in which there are a large number of sellers and large number of buyers in the market. Product is homogeneous, there is free entry and exit of the firms. Due to the large number of buyers and sellers, neither the buyer nor the seller has any control over the price of the commodity. So, price of the commodity is actually determined by demand and supply. So, every firm is just a price taker and at the predetermined price it can sell as much amount of the commodity as it wishes. So, it has not to take any decision regarding the price. So, naturally it has to decide about the output which must be done by the firm so as to maximize profit. So, we can say a firm is in equilibrium when it has no tendency to change its output. So, it is producing that output which is giving maximum of the profits or minimum of the losses. If it changes the output, then its profits will definitely fall or losses would increase. Now, we will see how this equilibrium can be achieved in the short period. In the short period, some factors are fixed, but production can be increased by making use of the variable factor just like raw material, labor, etc. So, in this supply can be increased to some extent, and in the short run new firms would not like to enter and old firms would not leave. So, we have to see that there are two methods of finding out the equilibrium of the firm, total revenue and total cost method, and the other is marginal revenue and marginal cost method. Firstly, we are going to do it with the help of TR and TC method. There can be three cases. They can be of supernormal profits, normal profits, or there can be losses in the short period. So, firstly we are going to do the case of supernormal profits. We know that supernormal profits will be there if total revenue is greater than the total cost of the product. In figure 1, we have shown that TR is a line passing through the origin. In this it shows that TR rises at a constant rate because price is not changed to increase the sales. But total cost does not start from 0. It starts from above the origin on y axis. Here OF is the fixed cost. So, you see that total cost is a rising curve, and firstly it increases at a decreasing rate, but ultimately it increases at an increasing rate due to the operation of the law of diminishing returns. Now you see that up to output ON, TC is greater than TR. So there are losses to the firm. At ON output, you see TR becomes equal to TC. This is known as the break-even point, where there are neither profits nor loss to the firm. And after this ON output up to OG output, TR is greater than TC. So we have to see which is the level of output which will give maximum profit to the firm. This is the level of output is OM. Here the profit is maximum, that is SK is the profit which is going to the firm. And another method of finding out where the profit is maximum is that draw tangents to TR and TC, and where they become parallel to each other, that will be the maximum difference. And after this output, what do you see? That profits go on declining. Before it also profit is less, after it also profit is less. And when we see that the output is OG, again TR becomes equal to TC. This is also another break-even point, but this is the upper break-even point, and firm will not reach at this level because profit maximizing output will come before it. So here the firm is getting supernormal profits because TR is greater than TC. Now we will see the case of normal profits. So in this situation, TR is equal to TC. Total revenue is covering just the total cost. This is shown in figure 2. We have taken output on x-axis and total revenue and total cost on y-axis. Again, TR is a straight line passing through the origin, it is sloping upward, and TC is starting from above the origin, and at equilibrium point TR is equal to TC, or you can say total revenue line becomes tangent to the TC line. At OM level of output, firm is in equilibrium having normal profits. Before this output, there are losses to the firm because TC is greater than TR, and after the output OM also TC is greater than TR. So only at OM level of output there is normal profits for the firm, and we have shown the total profit curve. It starts from the negative because there are losses, and it goes on declining till it becomes OM output, and after that again this loss is increasing. So this was about the case of normal profits for the firm under perfect computation. Now we will see what is the case of losses. In the short run, it is not always necessary that the firm will have supernormal profits or normal profits. It can have losses also. Now when there will be loss, when TC is greater than TR. In figure 3 you see that again total revenue line is a line passing through the origin, and TC line is above it at all the points. So at all levels of output TC is greater than TR, implying losses to the firm. So now the firm has to see which is the level of output where this loss is minimum, and again this can be found out by drawing tangents to TR and TC, and when they become parallel, this is the minimum difference between TC and TR. So at OM level of output, the firm is having the minimum loss, and TP C curve is also shown here, showing that there are losses at all levels of output, and at OM level of output this loss is minimum. You know, in the short run the firm must cover the total variable cost, but it can have losses up to the fixed cost of production, because even if it stops producing it will have to bear the fixed cost. So in the short run there can be supernormal profits, normal profits or losses, and we have done this with the total revenue and total cost method. But this method is not very common because here price is not explicit. You know, price can be found by dividing TR by the units of output, but it is not clearly shown in the diagram. So that is why the other method, marginal revenue and marginal cost method, is used more for finding out the equilibrium of the firm. So now we will see how the marginal revenue and marginal cost method is used to find out the equilibrium of the firm under perfect competition in the short period. There are two conditions of equilibrium of the firm with marginal revenue and marginal cost method. One is marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, and second is marginal cost cuts MR from below. Here the firm is comparing marginal revenue with the marginal cost. Marginal revenue is the addition made to the total revenue by the production and sale of one more unit of output, and marginal cost is the addition in total cost by producing one more unit of output. So long as MR is greater than MC, firm will go on producing more and more, and it will stop at the point where MC becomes equal to MR. But after this point, marginal cost should be greater than marginal revenue, then only it will be the point of equilibrium. Now we will show the same three conditions or three situations of supernormal profits, normal profits and losses to a firm by the means of MR and MC method. So first is the case of supernormal profits. Here we are comparing average revenue with average cost to find out the profit and loss of the firm. If average revenue or price is greater than the average cost of production, then the firm is getting supernormal profits, and this is shown in diagram figure 4. On x axis we have taken output, on y axis we have taken price, cost and revenue. AR is equal to MR, and this is equal to the price OP, which is actually determined by the demand and supply in the market. Now at this price, AC is U shape, MC is cutting AC at its minimum point, and equilibrium is where MC is equal to MR. This is the point E. At E, we see that output produced is OM. So OM is the equilibrium output, and price or AR is equal to EM or OP, and AC is equal to MF. So difference between AR and AC is EF or PQ per unit. This is the profit per unit, and the total profit will be PQ multiplied by OM. So we will get the supernormal profits equal to PQFE. So these are the supernormal profits for the firm under perfect competition in the short period. Here you see that price is equal to MR as well as it is equal to marginal cost also. The second case is of normal profits. Normal profits will be there when average revenue or price is equal to the average cost of production. And why we say normal profits? Because normal profits are already included in the average cost of production. So if the firm is getting average cost of production, we say that the firm is getting normal profits. This is shown in figure 5. Output is taken on x-axis. On y-axis we have taken price, cost and revenue. Price OP is determined in the industry by the intersection of demand and supply, and this has become AR is equal to MR, which is parallel to x-axis. This also shows that demand curve for a firm under perfect competition is perfectly elastic. Now AC is again U shape and MC is cutting AC from its minimum, and equilibrium is where MC is equal to MR and MC is cutting MR from below. This is the point E. So from here we see what is the output, that is OM. So equilibrium output is OM and price is OP. AC is equal to ME and AR is also equal to ME. So we find that average revenue is equal to the average cost of production. So here the firm is getting normal profits. Now we will see that in the short period the firm can have losses also. How? I just told you that fixed cost will be there in the short period, and the firm can suffer the losses up to the fixed cost. Why? Because if there are losses up to fixed cost and when the firm stops producing, even then it will have to incur that fixed cost. So it is better to go on producing. So now in this figure we will show how there are losses and to what extent losses can be there for a firm under perfect competition. On x-axis we have taken the output. On y-axis we have taken price, cost and revenue. First price is OP, which becomes AR is equal to MR for the firm. Now at this price we see that average cost is above it, but average variable cost is below this AR MR line. We know that the firm must cover its variable cost. Price should be at least equal to the average variable cost, or it can be more than that. So at price OP, what you see that average cost is more than the average revenue. Equilibrium is at E, where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. At this E point we see the output produced is OM. Now we will see what is the average cost here. MF is the average cost per unit at this point, and ME is the average revenue or price. So what you see that average cost is greater than the average revenue. Price is less. Price is not covering the average cost of production. So here EF or PQ per unit is the loss to the firm. So the total loss to the firm is PQFE. This is the loss to the firm under perfect competition. Now you see here that the difference between AC and AVC is the average fixed cost. So you see here that this cost is more, but the firm is getting a part of it. Total fixed cost is not being lost. A part of it, the lower part, is being got by the firm. So the firm will go on producing. Now, supposing the price of the commodity falls in the market due to any change in demand or due to change in the supply, and new price becomes OP1. Now at OP1, what happens? AR1 is equal to MR1, and at this the MC is cutting it at point E1. So MC is equal to MR at this point, and here the firm is getting only average variable cost. The whole of the fixed cost in B is being lost here. Output produced is OM1 and AR is equal to AVC. The firm is getting only average variable cost and there is loss of the fixed cost. So this point E1 is known as the shutdown point. Shutdown point is that point where price is just equal to average variable cost of production. If the firm finds that price falls below this price, then the firm will stop producing. But at the shutdown point, firm will not stop producing. Why? Because it knows that even if it stops producing the commodity, it will have to bear the fixed cost. That loss will definitely be there. So it goes on producing so long as it is getting the average variable cost, but if it gets less than that, then it will definitely stop producing. So this was about the losses to the firm under short period by MR and MC method. Now we have seen that in the short period, we see that price is determined in the market by demand and supply, and at this price the firm may be having supernormal profits, or it may be having normal profits, or it can have even losses. If all the firms have identical conditions, then all the firms we may be having supernormal profits or normal profits or losses. But if they are having differential cost conditions, then we may find that some firms are getting supernormal profits at that price, some may be getting only normal profits, and some firms may be having losses. So any type of situation can be there. Now what happens in the long run equilibrium of the firm under perfect competition? Under long run, new firms can enter, old firms can leave, and there will not be any fixed factor. And I told you just that loss can be up to fixed cost. So there are no fixed cost, so there can never be losses in the long period. And you can think otherwise also. Suppose there are losses to some firms in the short period, then after, as it goes on increasing, then what would happen? That these firms would leave the industry. This would lead to fall in supply of the product, and fall in supply will increase the price, and again the firm will be having only normal profits. And if there are supernormal profits for some firm, new firms will be attracted, and with the entry of new firms, supply would rise. With rise in output, price would fall. So this again would lead to only normal profits. So we can say that in the long run, under perfect competition, a firm will have only normal profits. It can neither have supernormal profits nor it can have losses, because new firms can enter, old firms can leave the industry. And this we have shown again with the method of total revenue and total cost, as well as with the marginal revenue and marginal cost. So firstly, we have shown it in figure 7 by means of TR and TC method. Output is shown on x-axis, and on y-axis we have shown price, cost and revenue. TR line is a line passing through the origin, and TC curve, now it is starting from 0 because there is no fixed cost, and normal profits will be there if total revenue is equal to total cost. So TR become tangent to TC at point E. So OM is the equilibrium output produced. At all other levels of output, there is loss to the firm because TC is greater than TR. So it is only the point E where the firm is getting normal profits. And by means of marginal cost and marginal revenue, this has been shown in figure 8. Output is shown on x-axis and cost and revenue are shown on y-axis, and again price here is equal to LAR and LMR. L is for long run average revenue and long run marginal revenue. This price is determined in the industry by intersection of demand and supply, and this is LAC, and LMC is passing through it. At the minimum of LAC, equilibrium is at E point, where you find average revenue is equal to the average cost of production. So the firm is getting only normal profits, and here you see that LAC is also at its minimum. So you can say the firm is of the optimum size because here the per unit cost is minimum. So dear students, we have seen here how the firm achieves equilibrium under perfect competition in the short period as well as in the long period, and we have seen that in the short period firm can have supernormal profits, normal profits or losses, but in the long period a firm will definitely have only normal profits. Thank you. Dear viewers, in this lecture I am going to tell you about equilibrium of the industry under perfect competition. But before doing this, we should have the knowledge of supply curve of the firm and industry, so that we can then understand how the equilibrium of the industry is achieved. Short run supply curve of the firm is to be known by looking at the equilibrium of the firm in the short run under perfect competition. For this, we should know what is its average variable cost and what is its marginal cost. In figure 1, we have shown SAVC, short run average variable cost, and SMC is passing through it, cutting at its minimum. We have just done that the firm must get average variable cost in the short run. So, we see that if the price is OP1, which is the price at which AVC is just equal to it, firm will be supplying OQ1 units of the output. Before this or below this price, firm will not supply any amount of the product because the price below it will not be covering the average variable cost. When the price is OP2, then you see that the output will be increased to OQ2, and if price is OP3, this becomes OQ3. So, all these points we have got from SMC. So, you can see that the part of SMC which is above the short run average variable cost is actually the supply curve of the firm. Now, what is the short run supply curve of the industry? As the market demand curve is formed by the horizontal summation of demand curves of all the individual consumers of a product. Similarly, the supply curve of the industry is obtained by the lateral or horizontal summation of short run supply of all the individual firms in the industry. The short run supply curve of the industry will always slope upward because the short run marginal cost of the firm always slopes upward above the minimum point of average variable cost curve. The slope and elasticity of the short run supply curve of the industry will depend upon the slope and elasticity of marginal cost. Now, we will see how the short run supply curve of the industry is formed. Supposing there are 100 firms of having equal type of the cost curves and they will producing the same output, and in the figure 2a we have shown the equilibrium of the firm, and on the right hand side in figure 2 we have shown the supply curve of the industry. When the price is OP1, from the SMC we come to know that output produced by one firm is OM1, and if we multiply it by 100 firms, it will become 100 into OM1, and this is ON1. No doubt the scale of output is compressed here in figure 2b. Similarly, when the price rises to OP2, one firm is producing OM2, so all firms will be supplying 100 into OM2, and that is ON2. Similarly, at OP3 and OP4, we have the supply ON3 and ON4 in the industry, and by joining all these points, we get the short run supply curve, and it is sloping upward, that as the price goes on rising, there will be more supply in the industry. Now, we will see what is the equilibrium of the industry. An industry is said to be in equilibrium when there is no tendency on the part of the industry to vary its output, that is, neither to expand output and nor to contract it. Industry is in equilibrium at the level of output at which quantity demanded and quantity supplied of its product are equal. Further, the output of the product of an industry can vary in two ways. First, the output of industry can vary if the existing firms vary their output levels. And secondly, output of the industry can vary with the change in the number of firms. So, output of industry will rise if new firms enter, and it will fall in case of exit of some firms. So far as the equilibrium of the industry is concerned, it has to take decision regarding price as well as output. And price is to be determined by demand and supply, where both demand and supply balance each other. That is the equilibrium price. If price is kept more than the equilibrium price, we know that supply would rise and demand would fall. So there would be excess supply leading to fall in price. And if price is kept below the equilibrium price, there will be more demand than the supply. So excess demand would bring rise in the price. So equilibrium price is only where the demand is equal to supply. And secondly, we see that the decision is to be taken regarding the output, that output should also remain stable, and that requires that all the firms are in equilibrium, as well as there is no tendency on the part of new firms to enter, as well as on the part of existing firms to leave the industry. They are not willing to leave the industry, new firms are not willing to come, then only there will be equilibrium of the firm, because then only in that case output will be stable. Now, external conditions regarding demand for the same, as just I told you that new firms should not enter and old firms should not leave for the equilibrium of the industry. So there are two conditions which must be satisfied. First is, each and every firm in the industry should be in equilibrium. This means they don't want to change their output. And secondly, the number of firms should be in equilibrium, that new firms should not enter and existing firms should not move out of the industry. Now we will see how the short run equilibrium of the industry is to be achieved. In the short run, an industry will be in equilibrium when demand for and supply of the industry's product are equal and all the firms are in equilibrium. Thus, in the short run equilibrium of the industry, though all firms must be in equilibrium, they all making supernormal profits, normal profits, or all may be having losses depending upon the demand conditions of the industry's product. In the short run, we have done that firm can have supernormal profits, normal profits, or losses, but in the short run they are not going to leave the industry and new firms are not going to enter. So either all the firms may be having these, or some firms may be having supernormal profits, normal profits, or losses. So equilibrium of the industry is shown in figure 3, that we have taken three types of firms: firm A, firm B, firm C. Firms of type A are the most efficient firm. Firm B type firms are less efficient as compared to A, and type C firms are the least efficient firms. Now, price is determined in the industry where demand and supply are equal, and this price becomes OP. So this is AR is equal to MR for all types of firms. And we see that three types of firms have different cost conditions. Accordingly, their equilibrium is at different places. If firm A is having equilibrium at E1, where the price is greater than average cost, this type of the firms are getting supernormal profits. P, Q, F and E1 is the supernormal profit earned by the firms of type A, and they are in equilibrium. At the same price, type B firms are having only normal profits. Price is the same, but here now average cost is more and equilibrium is at E2, where price is just covering the average cost of production. So the output is OM2 and the firm is getting normal profits. And in the C type of firms, what do you see? That price is covering just only average variable cost. Average cost is above it. Equilibrium is at E3. AC is M3G and AR is M3E3. So loss per unit is GE3. So total losses are H, P3, E3 and G. These are the losses to the firm, but the firm would not leave the industry because they are covering the average variable cost. Even if they stop producing, they will have to suffer the loss of fixed cost. So all these firms are in equilibrium and they are not going to leave the industry. New firms are not going to enter. So the industry is in equilibrium in the short period. Now we'll talk of equilibrium of the industry in the long run. The industry is in the long run equilibrium when, in addition to the equality of supply of and demand for industry's product, all firms are in equilibrium and there is no tendency for the new firms to enter, as well as no tendency for the existing firms to leave it. And for this, what is wanted? Demand is equal to supply. All the firms are in equilibrium, as well as all the firms must be getting only normal profits. Because if there are supernormal profits, new firms will enter the market and output will rise. And if there are losses, some firms would leave the industry, output would fall. And we want that output should remain stable, and that is possible only if all the firms are getting only normal profits. This we will show under increasing cost conditions, decreasing cost conditions and even constant cost conditions in the long run. Now, long run equilibrium of the industry is shown before going to the types of increasing cost, decreasing cost or constant cost. How will show that the firm will be getting only normal profits? In figure 4 we have shown this. In the right hand side we have shown the equilibrium by means of demand and supply, and in the left hand side we have shown the equilibrium of the firm. Now you see that first in the right hand side DD is the demand curve and SRC1 is the first supply curve and price is OP1. This is again AR is equal to MR. Here we have shown this LAC and different SACs also. Now at P1 the firm is having equilibrium at E and it is regarding the short period. what do you see here, that at this price AR is greater than AC. There are supernormal profits for the firm, P1, A, B, E. These are the supernormal profits for the firm in the short run. Now what would happen? By looking at these profits, new firms will be attracted, and with the increase in the number of firms, this short run supply curve will shift to the right. New firms will go on coming till this short run supply curve becomes SRSC2 and the equilibrium is at T and price is OP2, and new ARMR line is there, and at OP2 price what do you see? We see here that here LAC is minimum and price is covering only just average cost. Here SAC is minimum as well as LAC is minimum. So the firm here is getting only normal profits. So here we have just proved that in the long run there will be only normal profits for the firm, because with the increase in profits new firms are entering, and that is leading to increase in the supply, fall in the price. Ultimately there will be normal profits for the firm when new firms would not like to enter. And now we will talk of the different types of conditions. So conditions for the long run equilibrium are: supply of the product has been fully adjusted to the given demand for the product of the industry and two are in balance. All firms in the industry should be in equilibrium and all firms must be earning only normal profits. And now we will show actually the equilibrium as well as the long run supply curve. Long run supply curve in the increasing cost industry. Just as the name suggests, increasing cost. You know that whenever there is increase in the scale of operation of industry, there is increase in the size, there are external economies as well as external diseconomies. External economies in the form of economies of concentration, economies of technology, economies of marketing, and so many others. We have already done the external economies. And external diseconomies are those which lead to increase in the cost of production due to increase in the price of raw material, increase in the factor prices, etc. So in case of increasing cost industry, what happens? That external economies are greater than external diseconomies are greater than external economies. So that is why per unit cost of production goes on rising with the increase in the size of the industry. And here we will show how the firms achieve only equilibrium and only in the perfect in the normal profits. Again we have shown this, that industry is shown on right hand side and firms equilibrium is shown on the left hand side. In industry, equilibrium is shown between demand and supply. DD is the first demand curve and SS is the first supply curve, and equilibrium is at E. Equilibrium output is OM and price is OP. Now at this price, firms are getting normal profits because AR is equal to AC. Now supposing the demand rises and new demand curve is D1, D1. Now equilibrium is at E1. equilibrium output is OM1 and the price has increased to OP1. So we see here in the short period at price OP1, what would happen? Now the equilibrium is at E1 and the firm is getting supernormal profits. P1, E1 are the supernormal profits for the firm. Attracted by these profits, new firms will enter, leading to increase in the supply. And supply curve shifts to S1, S1. And the new equilibrium is at E2 and the now price has come down to OP2. But what do you see here, that at this price OP2, cost of production has also increased because of the increasing cost industry, because of the external diseconomies. AC curve and now MC curve has shifted upward, and now again the firm is getting only normal profits and output is ON2. No doubt the output has increased, but the firms are getting again only normal profits. So the firm is again in the industry is also in the equilibrium, because all the firms are getting only normal profits and they are in equilibrium. And if we join the first equilibrium E and the second equilibrium E2 after the change in demand and change in supply together, we get the long run supply curve. It is upward sloping, showing that as the price rises, supply will also increase. So this was about the long run supply curve in the increasing cost industry as well as the equilibrium of the industry. Now, how the long run supply curve of the industry in constant cost industry. In case of constant cost industry, external economies and diseconomies cancel each other. So with the expansion of the industry, there is no change in the per unit of cost of production, because economies and diseconomies become equal. Economies lead to fall in cost of production and diseconomies lead to rise in per unit cost of production, but because both are equal, so the average cost of production remains same. Now this has been shown in this figure. Here industry is again shown on right hand side, and on left hand side we have shown the equilibrium of the firm. DD is the first demand curve, SS is the first supply curve, and E is the equilibrium, and equilibrium output is OM, price is OP. At this price the firm is getting normal profits because AR is equal to AC. Now if the demand rises, demand curve shifts to D1, D1, and the new equilibrium is at E1, price is OP1. At this price in the short run, the equilibrium of the firm is at E1, where the firm is getting supernormal profits because AR is greater than AC. By looking at these profits, new firms enter, supply also shifts to the right due to the entry of new firms. New supply curve is S1, S1. So new demand curve and new supply curve intersect at point E2. So E2 is the new equilibrium point. At this the price is again only OP, which was the previous price, and here you see that average cost and marginal cost now has shifted to the right, but it is at the same level. So price is just covering the average cost of production. So there are only normal profits for the firm even in case of constant cost industry. And for finding out the long run supply curve, we join E, the first equilibrium, and the second equilibrium E2 with the change in demand and change in supply, and we get the long run supply curve parallel to x-axis. So, long run supply curve tells us in this case that price will not change due to increase in demand. And in the case of long run supply curve in the decreasing cost industry, what happens here? External economies outweigh the external diseconomies. So, as the size of the industry rises, per unit cost of production declines. This has been shown in this figure 7. Here what we find again in the industry, DD curve is the first demand curve, SS is the supply curve, and E is the equilibrium point. Price is OP, where the firm is getting only normal profits. Now, with the change in demand, demand curve shifts to the right, D1, and new equilibrium is at E1, leading to rise in price to OP1 and bringing supernormal profits for the firm, because now AR is greater than AC. Looking at it, new firms will enter and supply would rise. Supply curve shifts to S1 and new equilibrium is at E2, and here we find that price has come down. From the previous price OP, it has fallen to OP2, which is lower, but here we find that even the average cost of production has decreased. New AC1 and MC1 are there, and equilibrium is at E2, where the new price is equal to again the average cost of production. So, the firm is here again getting only normal profits. So, here we see that as the demand rises and due to increase in the supply, cost per unit has fallen. So, the price also decreases, and by joining E and E2 in the right hand side diagram where we have taken the industry, we get the long run supply curve, and it is a downward sloping supply curve. So, thus it has been made clear to you that long run supply curve can be upward sloping, it can be downward sloping, or it can be a line parallel to x-axis, depending upon what type of the external economies and diseconomies we have. If external economies are more, then long run supply curve will be downward sloping. If external diseconomies are more, it will be upward sloping, and if they are equal, it will be parallel to x-axis. But in all the cases, in the long run, the firms will be having only normal profits. Thank you.
With this note, thank you ma'am, thank you so very much. And dear friends, we believe that if you want to give a feedback for this particular lecture, then you can mail us at info.cc@nic.in. We would be meeting again very soon and would be discussing on another topic under the series microeconomics. Till then, take care, goodbye. Thank you ma'am, thank you once again.